Thank you for joining me for this first in the national series of conversations with the CMMC accreditation body. CMMC stands for the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification. It's the exciting change to our Department of Defense's way of securing the supply chain and getting a more reliable product, protecting intellectual property, and defending our nation against adversaries who are trying to weaken our defense supply chain. The CMMC-AB is comprised of 15 members that are dedicated and doing incredible work on this very important standard, along with the Department of Defense. Our organization, the Maryland Innovation Security Institute, and our Dreamport Cyber Mission Accelerator are glad to partner with the CMMC-AB and do whatever we can to support the Department of Defense and the CMMC-AB as they proceed forward with helping secure our nation. I'd like to introduce Ty Schieber. He's the chairman of the board of the CMMC-AB. You're going to be seeing a lot of Ty and the rest of the team as we go forward, and they continue on these national conversation series. Ty leads the CMMC-AB as the chair, and I'm happy to introduce him. Take it away, Ty.
Armando, thank you so much, and thank you to Dreamport and Missy for the partnership and collaboration. We know we're really on the beginning stages of this journey together, and we're really grateful for the opportunity to work with you and your organization. We feel that together we have a force multiplying effect on our complementary missions in support of enhancing the cybersecurity of the defense industrial base. And a huge thank you as well to Cisco for the generous support in enabling this series of national conversations. To our listeners, thank you all for joining the CMMC accreditation body for our first of several national conversations. We have a lot to share during our time together. The accreditation body has been very busy during the last 3 months and has, among other things, incorporated as a nonprofit corporation in the state of Maryland, application for a tax exemption determination by the IRS under Section 501c3 is pending. We've established an experienced, accomplished corporation agnostic, all volunteer board of directors comprised of 15 members from a diverse cross-section of stakeholder organizations inside and outside of the supply chain. We've adopted bylaws, articles of incorporation, code of conduct, rules and ethics, and OCI policy for board members, participated in more than 24 events. Importantly, signed a memorandum of understanding to formalize a relationship and authority of CMMC-AB with the Department of Defense. Established a close and collaborative partnership with the DoD CMMC PMO and their partners at DCMA, OSBP, SCI, and Johns Hopkins APL. We created committees and stakeholder working groups and are rapidly nearing completion of the initial definitions, functional roles, prerequisites, and application processes for individual credentialed organizations or roles like assessors, instructors, auditors, and for accredited organizational types, C3POs, licensed training partners, licensed partner publishers. We're also nearing completion on the initial functional and procedural baselines that will guide how those entities work with the AB and within CMMC ecosystem to implement the standard and deliver CMMC certifications to the DIB, starting from zero to the issue of certifications estimated in fourth quarter 2020. The pace accelerates from here. One of the most important things to remember is that we want to hear from you. This is a team sport and we can't do it without you. Although we haven't approved as a board any final decisions regarding the specifics of how we'll implement the initial baseline standard, we're getting very, very close, so please stay tuned. Remain engaged in asking questions. This helps us better understand your concerns and the answers you need. We intend to turn the unknowns into knowns as quickly as we can as we work together to implement this critical initiative for our defense and our nation. We felt that it was important to start our first national conversation since the AB was formally authorized to implement CMMC on behalf of DoD by the signing of the MOU with the individual that has served as the face and the force of personality most responsible for making CMMC happen. It's my honor and privilege to introduce Katie Arrington, someone that really needs no introduction. She's been on the job as a civil servant for a little over a year now, although it probably seems like about double that. She's done over 120 speaking engagements during that time as the point person responsible for making CMMC possible. She's also currently neck deep in helping lead DoD COVID-19 response. To say that she and her team have made an enormous difference in that relatively short period of time is an incredible understatement. She's the Chief Information Security Officer for the Undersecretary of Defense Acquisition and Sustainment. She answers to other titles as well, including Force of Nature, Blunt Force Trauma. Katie, before I hand it over to you, I have three things to say to you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today. Thank you and your team on behalf of the nation for the blood, sweat, and tears that you all put into the long road, or actually it's a relatively short road in making CMMC happen. And thanks to you, Ms. Lord, Mr. Fahey, and the rest of the DoD team for your partnership on this journey and for trusting and authorizing the CMMC-AB to implement CMMC on behalf of the department. We'll not let you down. Over to you.
Hey, wow. So thank you. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. So grateful to you guys, right? The 13 members of the AB board for standing up and volunteering to do this huge task and meeting the call of the nation. So my hat's off to you all. It's never been a me thing, it's a we thing, and we're in this together. So for everybody that is on the call today or listening in, the CMMC-AB is the only authorized by the Department of Defense accreditation body who can train and license CMMC accepted auditors or C3PAOs for the Department of Defense. Currently today, I want to make sure this is crystal clear that they currently do not have anyone certified to be doing any audits in any companies with a CMMC certification that the Department of Defense will accept. The accreditation body is diligently working to get the training out. Today is, wow, what's today's date, Ty?
Today is the 22nd of April.
This is how bad it is, folks. Today is April 22nd, and we had an intention to be kicking off the in-training Pathfinder for the auditors. But, you know, COVID-19 gave us a break, you know, gave us a minute. And because we'd structured a lot of the training around being in person, we're working through that. But in no way, shape, form, or fashion are we slowing down the pace. And we are continuing the momentum. We're innovative. We've been innovative since the beginning. We've been innovative with industry. We've been innovative with the Department of Defense. And we've been innovative with academia to get to this point. We're not going to let this virus stop us from doing what we need to get done. In fact, it has propelled us further into needing to have cybersecurity standards to ensure the sanctity of our industrial base, to ensure that the companies that we depend on for our national defense are able to withstand the cyber war that we're currently engaged with our adversaries. So although we are a minute, I would say Ms. Ward and the Secretary made a statement recently that, you know, we're about a 3-month pause. That's actually about how we're funding. That has nothing to do with what the work we're doing. And that is, we are continuing on. So anybody listening, if you have a company saying to you right now, I can certify you in CMMC, they cannot. The only people that are authorized to come in and do an audit at your facility will come from this accreditation body. The MOU has been signed, executed by the Honorable Ellen Lord. Thankfully, the accreditation body reciprocated and signed it. We are grateful for that. And we need to get through this first Pathfinder period. We never went out with the intention to say that this was going to be 100% perfect. We understood that this Pathfinder time was going to be critical in the development of the CMMC in long term. So as we're going through our Pathfinders within the department and looking at the RFIs that we need to start putting the CMMC in, know that we're working collaboratively with industry. We're working with the MDA pilots to be some of the first, because we've already gone through a great deal of understanding their supply chain. We don't want to keep anybody out of joining the industrial base. So remember, if you're currently not doing work with the DoD, you want to get to do work with the DoD, I would look at the CMMC model the way it is right now, level 1 specifically, which are 17 no-cost controls that anyone can do. You should be doing those today. There shouldn't be a calling to wait until the CMMC-AB gets certified and trained C3PAOs or individual auditors. You should be doing that today. And simple things, it can't be, and remember I've stated, we have a 5-year process to get the CMMC through the whole of Department of Defense contracts. We are in the process of a proposed change to the DFAR, the Defense Federal Acquisition Regulation 252.2047012 that refers to the NIST, National Institute of Science and Technology, Special Publication 800-171R1. And those are the 110 controls that are currently stated by NIST that you should be self-attesting if you're touching controlled unclassified information. So there is a lot out there you can do right now to get prepared. We can't insert the CMMC into any current active contract. This is only going to start as we roll on new contracts or new RFIs. And remember, it's a very strategic and well thought out plan on how to integrate the CMMC into our acquisition community. This is not a checklist. This never started off as a checklist. This always was about cultural change and understanding how critical cybersecurity was to every single one of our businesses. COVID-19 changed the world in the fact that we realized, how interconnected we were, not just in the human contact and how quickly a virus can spread, but understand the interdependency that we each have with the connectivity of multiple devices, and how we're teleworking, and how our adversaries can easily get in. And we need to do our best to protect ourselves and to protect you, because ultimately, all of you paying attention today, you're the base of our national defense. You are the reason we are here. The Department of Defense doesn't build a thing. We buy, we contract with you. You're our national defense. And our adversaries aren't taking a knee during this time. In fact, they've been extraordinarily aggressive. And if there wasn't a time and place in our collective that we needed to stand up and come together and move forward on this, it's now. Cultural change generally takes something, a catalyst to make it happen. After World War II, we really got to the manufacturing industrial age when it came to the Department of Defense and the industrial base. After 9/11, we learned all about how we were going to fly and how we could buy down the risk of security and safety when it came to our planes and how we moved around the country. And I firmly believe that COVID-19 is the catalyst that will help propel us to this state of awareness about cybersecurity and changing the culture about how you connect and what you do from your home, from your office, from your device as you're going about your day-to-day work. So more than honored and privileged and humbled to be a part of this cultural change to make America better and safer. And, as I've always stated, it's always been a team of the willing. It's not a me or a you thing, it's a we thing. And thank you to the AB body for standing up. Thank you for all the people that have been willing participants in the working groups and our CISOs who have given countless hours to developing the model. It truly is a collaboration of brilliant minds wanting to do the right thing for our nation at the right time. And timing is everything. And I do not believe in coincidence. And I firmly believe that where we are today was meant to be. And this is our moment in time to change our nation's path, your business's path, and ensure that we are going to be there in 100 years from now. So with that, I will stop talking because you all know I love to talk. Mr. Schieber, as always, chairman of the board, and never in a million years would I ever think I'd call you chairman of the board. You're no Frank Sinatra, just saying. But I have to always add the levity to it. You all take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you.
Well, thank you. We just so appreciate your relentless persistence making this happen. You need better jokes, but besides that, we're so grateful for everything that you brought to this, everything that you're doing for our country. And again, we look forward to moving forward in partnership and a sense of urgency to make this happen on behalf of our nation. So thanks again for taking time out of your busy schedule. And here's to the road ahead.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you very much. Okay, it's now my distinct pleasure to introduce Mr. Shannon Jackson, who's the Deputy Director of the Office of Small Business Programs. Mr. Jackson is a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel where he served 23 years. While in uniform, he was the Deputy Program Manager for the U.S. Army Rapid Equipping Force. He was a Foreign Military Sales Acquisition Officer and Program Manager for a major weapon system. He provided ammunition and service program management for the government of Iraq, and he served as the Deputy of the Army System Coordinator, or DASC, within the Office of the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology, directly managing the Joint Air and Ground Missile and the Hellfire Missile System. Mr. Jackson earned a bachelor's degree in history from Virginia State, an MBA from Nichols College, and a master's degree in procurement and acquisition from Webster University. He's a Defense Acquisition Workforce Improvement Act Level 3 certified PM and a Level 2 contracting professional. Shannon, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your continued service to our nation, and thank you for the partnership between your office and the CMMC-AB as we move forward and leverage our combined efforts on behalf of the entire defense supply chain, with a particular sensitivity and focus on ensuring small business success. Over to you, sir.
Ty, hey, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to actually talk to the small business community as well as all the folks from Accreditation. I know my partner in crime, Katie Arrington. We have been in partnership for the last year, really trying to ensure we help support small businesses. So again, I want to thank the Accreditation Board, Dreamport, for hosting this opportunity this year. So in given that, one of the things I like to say again, Shannon Jackson is Deputy Director at the Office of Small Business Programs. And one of the critical initiatives that we have started with inside of the Office of Small Business Programs is really look at that cybersecurity and how we protect that small business industrial base, because they are key to our success from a department standpoint. Ms. Laura really is focused on that. And one of the things we're looking at from our industrial base is really to try to help do that with educating our small business community. Couple of things I want to say. We started this effort about a year and a half ago, really trying to look at how do we get at this critical problem for the Department of Defense. And one of the things we established last year was we took on two different efforts. One with another company to help us educate the small business community, in which one of the things I'm proud of from last year was we were able to actually train over 7,000 small businesses in cybersecurity, which is critical to our industrial base. Coupled with one of the things we also did was really establish that partnership with U.S. Cyber Command, which was a critical effort and really trying to look at that manufacturing community, which is critical to our industrial base. And given that, the partnership between U.S. Cyber Command as well as the Office of Small Business Programs has really generated a lot of critical things that will help educate that small business community. And one of the things that we really focused in on this year was our Project Spectrum. And what Project Spectrum really does, it's providing that home in which we have small businesses are a part of in order to educate them on some of the critical things as we transition to the CMMC and the accreditation of companies being a part of that industrial base. The one thing I would like to highlight with that was when Congress actually in 2019 put out NDA 1614, they really asked the mentor protege program to really help spearhead that. And one of the things we've done with the mentor protege program with the partnership is really look at how do we get at this tough problem that is facing our small business industrial base. And with Project Spectrum, it has been pretty a unique challenge. And what I say with that is that really trying to educate the workforce, educate our small business community, as well as look at the partnerships with the accreditation board in order for us to help align when preparing for that transition of the accreditation board, looking at the companies and having them be prepared for the future. So again, one of the things that I will always say is our mission is to really help small businesses. And one of the things that I realized from this initiative that we started with Dreamport and US Cyber Command is the education piece. One of the things I really think about a lot of times with our small business community is to really know your status. And knowing your status is taking the necessary resources and really applying it to your company. So again, I appreciate this honor, and it's truly a pleasure and a part of Project Spectrum, as well as working with the accreditation board and the CMMC folks. And again, I want to thank you, and Ty, thank you, and all of the folks from accreditation.
Thank you, sir, for your comments and for joining us today and for sharing your vision. We're really grateful, and we look forward to working in partnership with you and your team on this journey ahead. So thank you again for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule. For our listeners, the accreditation bodies establish 7 standing committees. We have standards, accreditation and credentialing, training, infrastructure, nominations and governance, finance, and communications. Each of these committees sponsor working groups that gather stakeholders and their input across the entire ecosystem of the CMMC. That process is well underway. Many working groups have already met and have concluded their work. Others are slated to meet here in the near future. Once the working groups meet and they gather input or recommendations and formulate and frame approaches to the myriad of problems or challenges rather inherent in implementation of CMMC, they bring those recommendations back to the committees that are all chaired by board directors. Those directors and those committees then bring the recommendations forward to the board for final decision. And again, as I mentioned, even though the board hasn't made final decisions on the specific mechanics of CMMC implementation, we're nearing decision point in a wide range of areas. It's very exciting to be able to unveil, the incredible work that's been done. Over the next 2 weeks, each of our committees will have a specific event to provide updates and answer questions submitted to the following email address: conversations@cmmcab.org. So look for those postings on our website and in your email for details. So again, I'd like to thank Armando and Dreamport and Missy for their generous partnership in sponsoring this first national conversation with the CMMC-AB, and thank you all for listening.